Hey everyone, welcome to the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida, and a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. You can see myself and the other two elves here all dressed appropriately in our Steelers caps as Santa will be coming down the chimney in just a few more nights here, kids. Gentlemen, welcome. Let's get right to it. As of course we always do. What are you drinking, Ian?
I am drinking Bradshaw bourbon because we won, and it is delicious. Terry Bradshaw makes a damn fine bourbon.
Yes, and as we talked about last week, also a new rye version of that as well for the rye lover. And Ben, what are you imbibing?
I'm drinking Calyptic Hazy IPA, and I'm deciding what kind of whiskey I'm going to have right now. I think I'm going to do Broken Top.
You can tell if you're watching on the audio, or excuse me, on the video feed, you can clearly see that Ben must have his entire collection of whiskey to his left because he was
Not
taking
the entire
his time.
collection, but I got a few bottles right here.
Excellent.
Ben literally just podcasts from his home bar.
His home bar. Why not?
I mean, I set it over here so that I could, pick.
I'm starting to do that as well.
You'll never know what I'm going to be in the mood for.
I've got some eggnog this evening with some Southern Comfort. So going a little festive. Don't worry, I've got Bradshaw bourbon over here, and plus I got the little fridge filled with Yinglings. And you mentioned Hazy IPA. I did pick up some Southern Tier on my way out of town Monday, and
along with that icy light mango.
And by the way, a little shout out to Mike. Mike throwing me under the bus. Apparently, that's the thing to do now on social media.
Where you belong.
Telling me that I brought home a stash of icy light mangoes. Mike, it's a wonderful beer, especially in the summer. And I did see that Yingling has a mango. By the way, I see. Yes, I know. Which I will be trying this summer when I can get my hands on it. But no, Mike, I did not have any more mango this weekend. And believe me, you weren't the only one to mention that, as it got brought up several times at the tailgate. All right, guys.
Speaking of the tailgate, you got to shout out to Rick.
I do. Let me do that first. So I have a number of people to thank here. My daughter made it to the Steelers game for her first time ever this past Sunday. And so I want to thank our good friend Craig, obviously, for hooking me up with the seats.
Did Steel daughter have a good time?
She did. She loved it. She got full yinzered, not only at the tailgate, of course, but in the stands. I swear I was in the middle of a Saturday Night Live skit. Somebody was going to, come out and do a whole candid camera the way these guys were behind me. I would put them all in their 60s, probably lifetime season ticket holders. Johnson's terrible. He can't even get to the marker. What's wrong with this guy? And then the other guy's yelling at Ben. Every time Ben drops back, it's another 5-yard pass. It's another 5-yard pass. Get out of there, you bum. All that kind of stuff. And then when let's
go to Mason fucking Rudolph. That's a good idea.
That's what I'm thinking. And by the time we got the lead, they suddenly turned into much nicer individuals. But be that as it may. And thank you to Rick Holman, of course, the Steelers fan, Hall of Famer. We met up with him at the Renegade Tailgate, hosted by Lenny and his wife Cindy, along with Whitney. And these people put on a wonderful spread, and they have more alcohol varieties in the back of their van than most of your local bars. Nice TV setup, great food. Nice. My daughter had her first pierogi and everything there, and they were so welcoming. They treat you well. And we just missed Alex Highsmith's dad coming in. He came through as we were kind of leaving. And anyway, but then Rick, of course, used his wonderful connections with the fine people of Ford and got us down on the field during pregame warmups, to which I will be forever grateful, as will my daughter. She's a big fan of Chris Boswell, who we saw many times. In fact, there were several moments when we thought we were going to have to hold her back. We weren't sure if she was going to go try to hug him or not. And the guy kept telling us, stay on the yellow line, stay on the yellow line. And finally she got the message. But anyway, so thank you very
Oswald's
much.
a much bigger kid than
He's a very big kid.
Yeah, he's tall and skinny.
He is.
He's tall.
And his football pants are not football pants, guys.
They are
biking shorts.
Yeah.
They are biking shorts.
I saw that myself. I was okay.
Oh, I mean, I think it's the trend. I think Tuckers are the same way in Baltimore, very similar. But we were very impressed with him during the warm-ups. I mean, the guy's flexibility is ridiculous, as you would expect for a kicker. But, man, he was doing things. My groin was aching just watching. Let's just put it that way. So thank you to all those folks. And
you heard it here first, kids.
Great. Yeah.
Steel Dad's loins were aching.
That's right. Well, like Mike Tomlin says, Steel Dad has a groin. Chris Wormley has a groin this week. Who knew? Geez, we'll get into all that. Anyway, Steelers pull out a big win, and it was ugly, guys. It was very, very ugly. A 19-13 win. 168 yards, I believe, of total offense. The defense did what it needed to do in terms
defense
of
allowed a lot of yards on the ground,
yes.
but they kept getting turnovers. That was the key.
It was. Joe Hayden returned and obviously had the play of the game with his huge tackle there at the end, and he also had that really wicked fumble recovery. Did they rule it a fumble recovery or an interception?
It was a fumble recovery.
Fumble recovery. Okay, we weren't sure inside the stadium. And Minkah had some big plays as well. And of course, I don't know what else you can say about TJ Watt, the new single season sack record holder now for the Steelers. And
he needs to get
five
more.
Five more.
Five
more, and he beats Strahan. And I mean, I don't know. He got dinged up towards the end of that game. He did come back in. It looked like a stinger, is what it looked like to me. But in any case, I want to talk about the offense first. Ian,
one thing real quick.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Minkah made some nice plays. I think Minkah in particular, when you talk about tackling, has made nice plays all season. He's been a sure tackler, and it's bad when your free safety leads your defense in tackles. It's a really, really bad sign. That guy's good. 20 yards off the ball. He's supposed to be your last line of defense, and he should not be leading your fucking defense in tackles. And Minkah is. And that's a testament not only to his ability to get up and stop plays and diagnose them and get up and make sure there's no big gain, but also to the weakness of the front seven. That is ridiculous. He should not be that guy.
He's making those kinds of tackles like downhill linebackers are making. Yeah. Like you said, coming from 20 yards deep.
That's ridiculous.
And speaking of linebackers, I know you wanted to go to the offense, but speaking of linebackers,
we'll get there because I'm going to stay with Minkah for a minute. So go ahead.
Yeah, there was no measurable difference with having Robert Spillane in there versus everyone else. The last couple of weeks with Spillane out, people have been talking about, if we only had Spillane, it wouldn't be so bad because we wouldn't have to play Devin Bush. No.
What?
Spillane in there got beat to the outside. People on Twitter, people on the radio.
People who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Actually, even Keith Butler made reference to wanting to play.
I'm really glad to get the physical Robert Spillane back. We talked about this last week. In order to be physical, you have to get in front of the ball carrier.
Exactly.
Robert Spillane struggles there a little bit by comparison to the more athletic linebackers that play for the Steelers, including Marcus Allen.
Yeah. I was gonna say a little bit. He constantly got beat on those outside zone runs that he just could not get out there. Yeah. And
correct me if I'm wrong, real quick, Ian. Wasn't Spillane in there more often for Schobert than he was for Bush? Yeah. I saw him and Bush next to each other a lot more.
I agree. Yes, definitely. And actually, speaking of Marcus Allen, I thought their alignment with the 4 defensive linemen, and then if we're counting Allen as a defensive back, basically 7 defensive backs, and they're kind of worked on third and long situations.
It was okay.
A dime linebacker.
Yeah.
It worked out. I agree with you. He had a nice stop. I want to say midway through the 4th.
Yeah, it was a short dump over the middle, if I remember.
Yeah. And he got it, and they didn't convert. And I actually thought it was second down, and I was like, what the fuck? Why did we run that defense? Oh, it was third down? Okay, I'm shutting up.
That's what alcohol does to us, Ben.
Yeah,
but I will say, too, after the last couple of weeks where we've given up a lot of third and long situations, like that defense worked to tackle the catch and didn't give up a lot of – I think the only third and long we gave up was that one that that running back caught in the first quarter before they scored their touchdown that he almost got his head taken off by Cam Hayward. But he made a nice move in space to we should have had him right on the sideline, and he juked a couple guys. But other than that, I don't think they converted a lot of third and longs, although Tannehill's not a real good downfield thrower. He likes to throw those crossing routes and throw over the middle. So, eventually we kind of figured that out.
And I think that was kind of the plan. They gave him those over the middle throws pretty much all day. I mean, the one,
but tried to keep it inside.
Tried to keep it inside. Exactly. Ben, do you think because of what Minkah has been asked to do in recent weeks, has his price gone up at all, or was it always going to be high either way?
Oh, it's always going to be at the top of the market regardless. I mean, the guy's
two-time All-Pro, two-time All-Pro, I think, in 4 years.
I just mentioned that because of what he's been tasked with the last several weeks. It's been off the charts.
Okay. So All-Pro hasn't been announced this year.
Right.
I thought he was an All-Pro as a nickel his first year in Miami. He was definitely All-Pro both his first 2 years in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he because the AP votes for the All-Pro.
I
think he'll make the All-Pro team.
All-Pro the first year, at least
it was
first team. Not first team. Could have been second team. I'm trying to go back and look.
All right. But two-time first team All-Pro. Those awards haven't been given out for this season, so that could be a third. Regardless, it's going to be a top of the market deal, which isn't that bad. It's not like you're trying to pay TJ Watt.
Right.
But it's still probably going to be,
18 or 19 a year.
I was going to say 18.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice hunk of change.
What's going to be the hang up again? The holdup is going to be guaranteed money because the precedent has now been set with Watt and, Minkah's a pretty damn good player. He's also on the rise as opposed to descending.
Right.
Yeah. You've got a young ascending player who's demonstrated the fact that he can play very well and is going to get better. Yeah. They're going to ask for top of the market money, and they're going to want a lot of it to be guaranteed fully. So,
look at what Justin Simmons. Yeah. Look at what Justin Simmons got in Denver. 4 years, $61 million, $35 million guaranteed. So
it's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind. Pro Bowl nods came out today. The Steelers had TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, two guys I think all of us, anybody in Steeler Nation would have agreed were deserving. Yeah. Minkah did not get Pro Bowl.
Which shocks the shit out of me.
Yeah, I was a little bit. I thought Deontay Johnson had a slight chance. He ended up right now. He's 8th in receptions. He's about 10th in receiving yards,
which is crazy for how bad our offense is.
It really is.
Numbers.
They
didn't announce second team guys today,
right? And I think he'll be there because
he may get it, he may not.
Right.
And then you get guys that won't go, just won't play.
Exactly.
Because they're injured because they don't feel like going to Orlando for an extra game.
Right.
Even though it is just a scrimmage.
Yeah, and I mean, offensively, he was really the only one. I mean, could there be arguments for Najee Harris? Maybe. I didn't.
Nah.
It'd be fun to see him play behind an actual offensive line.
Right. And it'd be really fun to see him play behind a line that could block and actually see what he could do. But, the guy's averaging like 3.6 yards per carry. He's not making a Pro Bowl this year.
So let me – I feel like I'm just kind of pulling stuff out of a hat here today, but that really doesn't bother me. Najee he danced a lot Sunday. he didn't seem like a guy, and I'm not saying he hasn't, but he looked like he was trying to go left, right, way more than I've seen him do, rather than just say, to hell with it, I'm hitting this hole, I'm going to get 3 yards. Did you guys see any of that?
Yeah, he looked a lot more indecisive than I had seen him before.
Yeah.
But
some of that's just the inconsistent line play.
Yeah.
Oh,
the line play was as bad as I've seen it on Sunday. I mean, it was really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Bud Dupree in particular, he was in that backfield all day long.
Mm-hmm.
If he was not breaking up a play, he was disrupting it.
Yeah.
All damn day. It was a pain in the ass to watch.
Yeah.
Those 2 defensive tackles, they whooped up on our guys. I mean,
now we've got to go into Kansas City and play Chris Jones, who might be able to.
Who's damn good.
Oh God, I
don't know.
This is
maybe,
a week.
Maybe we'll get lucky and Dotson will come back and Chris Jones will piss him off. And I don't know.
Dotson, he looked. he didn't come out and do much during warmups, but he looked a lot healthier. I didn't really notice much of a limp with him.
They said they're putting him on the whatever it is 21-day return plan.
Yeah, they did.
Activated. Yep. He has been activated.
So he's practicing, and he may play this week. We'll see. I didn't think John LeGlue played that bad. I thought he was serviceable. Let's put it this way.
Yes, serviceable.
He was, of the guys that played, he may have played the best. Now, that's just saying better than bad. It's not saying he played well, but better than bad. There were some performances that were just downright bad.
Like Trey Turner, he's been bad.
Trey Turner was awful. Chooks, what the hell was that? And I mean, Green's had struggles all year, and hopefully, he'll learn how to use his hands on the offseason and get better at center. But right now, I think that's his biggest struggle is, you gotta be ready to use your hands as soon as you snap the ball. You got to be ready to go. And he's not. And it's just taking him time to learn how to do it. And we talked about this, when they drafted him. 4 starts at center out of 33 in college. It's going to take some time. He's a project. And assuming that just because he was a 3rd-round pick, that he's going to come in and be just as good as Pouncey,
Well, and he does wear the same number.
Why would you believe something like that? Why would you not rationally look at his experience and his size and question whether or not he was going to be a good center? This blind belief that you can speak things into existence if you believe it hard enough. I don't know what the fuck. Where do the people come from? Where?
Twitter.
Well, you're so negative, Ben. No, I'm fucking realistic. I'm a realist. And I'm asking you to be one.
That's what we're here for.
Things.
We are the realist podcast.
And consider them. That is all I'm asking you to do. Okay? Not saying he's going to suck. In fact, I think long-term, he'll be fine. But he wasn't ready to play this year. And the fact that Mike Tomlin said that he was NFL ready from day one, I was like, huh? What are you talking about? Pouncey? He was. Yeah. Green? No, he's not NFL ready now.
No. By the way, I'll take a little bit of the blame for Chooks' poor performance. I did scream at him from the sidelines. I said, Chooks, row the boat. And he looked at me as if I was insane.
Well, you are, so.
Well, referencing his time as a Western Michigan Bronco under PJ Fleck. But, I mean, this line, I think people have to understand, it's not going to get any better now. It is what it is the rest of the season. They might have moments. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly. They might have moments. Exactly.
We're coming up on week 16. I mean, they are what they are.
Hey, as long as we're talking about the line, let's talk about Adrian Klemm.
Yeah. So a report came down today. Adam Rittenberg, I believe, big college football guy from ESPN, said that the new staff at Oregon is looking at Adrian Klemm, the Steelers' current offensive line coach, as a potential for the same job out there in Oregon.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, let's go to our Pacific Northwest correspondent, Ben, to see how he feels about that.
Well, first of all, anyone who knows me knows I hate the Oregon Ducks. So fine. I don't give a shit. My feeling is that the offensive line has underachieved.
Mhm.
I don't know how much of that is on Klemm, but
Mhm.
I feel like they've underachieved this year. And, you know, if replacing him with a more seasoned coach is the right move, then, you know, I think that's something that should happen. I'm not going to blame all of it on Klemm, though. It's not all on him.
No.
It's a lot of it is the talent level along that line and the lack of planning in the 2021 offseason by the Steelers front office. Sorry, they don't get a pass here. You had a 39-year-old immobile quarterback. You knew you needed to improve your running game. So what did you do? You went out and drafted a stud running back and neglected your offensive line. What the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Well, they assumed, and as we've talked about, the DeCastro thing was a little surprising, but I think they also assumed that Banner was going to be available and better. I think they thought Chooks would improve. I think they had a lot of hopes and wishes is what they had. And as you all know, hope and wishes
is not a strategy.
Exactly.
Hope is not a strategy.
It's not. You know that. We know that. Why the hell didn't the Pittsburgh Steelers front office know that? That's the real question.
I mean, I honestly would have been happy bringing back Kelvin Beachum, play left tackle.
Yes.
You know, serviceable guy. He's not going to cost you a lot of money. He's not a stud, but he's a good left tackle. And drafting Creed Humphrey. And I know they wouldn't have gotten Freiermuth. That wouldn't have happened, but they would have had a solid foundation to that unit. Instead, what they have is a shaky, shitty foundation to that unit. And when you build a house on a bad foundation, the house is going to fall in. And that's what's going on with the line. That's what's going on with that unit, with the offense.
And
they suck.
I don't disagree. I think to put all this on Klemm is not fair to him.
I agree.
You know, would I like to see a veteran or more experienced offensive line coach come in? Yes, I would. Yeah, I would. But I'm not saying that this entire debacle has been on him by any stretch. So I we'll just leave it at that. Again, this has all been, I don't want to say rumor, but it sounds like, Rittenberg got a report, heard something from somebody, the name came up and he went with it. So, hard to say. 3 weeks left in the regular season here in the NFL. So we might not know until then. I do want to remind.
My question is, I mean, unless you're on the rocks, you're reeling, you're on the hot seat in Pittsburgh, why would you want to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers to go coach for the fucking Oregon Ducks?
Klemm does have college experience. I believe he was at UCLA.
Yeah.
But I don't know either. I don't know either. I think Mike Tomlin said it best. Why would I want to leave this, one of the premier jobs in all of sport, to coach college? I agree. The SCB Steelers Podcast is presented by DEK Roofing of South Florida. DEK serves Broward and the southern Palm Beach counties, whether it's commercial, industrial, residential, multifamily, or condos. Contact DEK Roofing today by visiting dekroofing.com. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all the folks down there at DEK Roofing, who I'm sure are probably sitting around the deck bar right now enjoying frosty beverages. That's what it's called. It's called the deck bar, and it's a beaut. TVs everywhere, and beers aplenty. And I'm sure they're watching some horrendous bowl game right now. But hey, somebody's got to. Pat Freiermuth, you brought him up moments ago, Ben. Ian, your concern level, he's now on concussion number 2 in his rookie season. You getting concerned at all?
I was really concerned with that hit that he took because that was possibly like a double concussion in one play. Because the first hit that he took, he was like stunned on his feet, like he was just standing there. He didn't move at all. And then he got hit again and his head kind of bounced off the turf. So like that has like different sport, but thinking back to when Sidney Crosby got hurt, right? Yeah. And had that concussion, was out for so long that he got hit from behind and, basically kind of had like a double concussion that, his head bounced around so much that his brain kind of bounced off both sides, and that's,
Yeah.
it took him so long to come back that, when he was down after that play, I was really worried that it was something worse, but he was able to walk off the field. So, those are the kind of things, though, that you never know, how they play out. They have protocols, all that, but those are things that later in life can really come back to make things rough on you too.
Right.
And as a young guy, I mean, he's tough as nails. I mean, he goes in there, he blocks hard, he takes on tacklers, and so it's kind of a facet of how he plays the game too. The one that happened this week was not his fault at all. It wasn't, he got blindsided by that defensive back.
That was bullshit.
But
I don't know why that was not a called flag. Well, that was not.
They
a
did
flag.
flag it.
They
did
flag it.
Yes.
After the fact.
That's
right.
Once he got off the field, the flag came
They
out.
did flag it after the fact. What did
Way
they look at the replay, which is that's bullshit too. You throw that flag real time. You don't wait.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they got it, but you're right. I would much rather, if you're going to throw that one that they threw on Minkah in the end zone a week or two
That was
ago,
horse shit.
I mean, that was in real time, and that was ridiculously awful. I mean, then what was the problem here? You could see, though, and believe me, you guys know, when players take shots like that, their teammates know. Ben was one of the first guys over to him when he was down on the ground, and he looked over at the training staff like, "Hey, get your asses in here." And I just, he was walking towards us to the tent area, and he didn't even go to the tent. They took him straight down the steps there behind the bench, and that's kind of when most of us knew, he's not coming back. I just hope I hope that young man thinks long and hard about it. I will not say one word one way or the other. I don't have any reason to believe he won't be back in uniform as soon as he's cleared. But 2 concussions in your rookie season, you can't just dismiss it.
Well, and the fact that he didn't practice today at all. So he's not far enough along in the protocol to go through practice, to do the testing, to see if he can get back to baseline to play. So that doesn't bode well for this week.
No. And after his first concussion, he did practice the
following Wednesday.
Yeah. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Go back over to the defensive side a little bit. One guy I thought did a nice job. I'm not going to, throw too many superlatives or anything like that, but I thought Isaiah Loudermilk did a decent job, especially moving right and left. I think he struggles when it's coming straight at him, but man, he strung out some plays really nice on those wide zone plays, made some tackles, got guys in position to make tackles. And that's tough because those guys are getting held every freaking play. That's something I noticed from where I was, but I don't know if you guys picked up on it.
Yeah, I thought Davis played acceptably well too in his handful of snaps. He didn't play Carlos Davis didn't play a ton of snaps, but he was okay too. But yeah, I think I thought Loudermilk's been like fairly decent all year. He was a guy who a lot of people were surprised when we traded a pick to, get back into the 5th round and draft him. But he's been a lot better than I think a lot of people thought he would be, which, people thought he was going to be nothing. And he's been okay. I think serviceable is the right word there.
Yeah.
He's a serviceable backup, which is, kind of like what we thought Chris Wormley was a serviceable backup who's now been forced into a starting role. But, I wouldn't trust Loudermilk in a starting role right now, but, maybe a year or two down the line, maybe you have something there kind of depending on what happens with Stephon Tuitt too. So we'll see. Yeah. But I think he's been about what I would expect for a rookie 5th round pick. Yeah. He's been serviceable.
When was Davis's last game action, by the way?
Oh boy.
I mean,
it's been maybe. I think he got put on IR like right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it was very early. But yeah, I was glad to see him out there as well. Ben, what stood out for you just watching the defense? Obviously, they created turnovers and stuff. Anything stand out for you?
Opportunism, in the defensive backfield in particular. Taco Charlton, I think, is a serviceable backup. I don't know why.
Large human being. I did not realize how big he was.
Yeah, I don't know why Derek Tuska's outsnapping him. That to me is fucking ridiculous. Tuska is an empty uniform as far as I'm concerned. He did come close to a sack on Sunday, and it is an NFL game, so he's obviously not an empty uniform, but he just doesn't do much for me. Loudermilk, as you guys pointed out, I think he's going to be a good player. I think when he gets thicker, stronger, he's going to be a good player. And they were right. I'll admit that I thought it was a terrible trade. I was like, they traded what? Are you kidding me?
I know.
I think they traded they traded a fourth next year to take him this year.
Yep.
He's 24. So, he's an older guy, but he's still young enough that he can fill out, and become that stronger player that you need him to be at that spot and be better at the point of attack, which is, I think, kind of the weakness in his game right now. I agree with you when you say that he's better at moving laterally and filling gaps than he is when the play's coming right at him. But yeah, that'll improve with time here.
Yeah, absolutely.
One other thing I'll say on the defense, sorry, Ben, to cut you off, but I know that Highsmith and Watt are both nursing injuries. They want to rotate those guys. They want to rotate the defensive line a little bit. But there was a number of snaps that I noticed where 0 out of Watt, Highsmith, and Cam Hayward were on the field. And I was like, this should never happen, where all three of them are all off the field at the same point in time. Like, they got to, unless there's an injury, which obviously changes things, but figure out your rotation so you at least have 1 or 2 of those 3 on the field at a time.
Yeah. I'm with you, Ian. I don't need to add anything to that.
We got pretty lucky in the situations, in my opinion, where they were all 3 off the field, and usually it only lasted a snap. But I agree with you. That's something you don't want to see. You need to have linebacker coaches and defensive line coaches talking about the rotations. Yeah. So that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because if your front 4 or 5 is going to be like Taco Charlton, Henry Mondo, Isaiah Loudermilk, and Derek Tuska, you're probably going to get run on a little bit, especially with Devin Bush and Robert Spillane behind them sometimes.
It's not just that, with an offensive line as good as Tennessee's.
Oh yeah, those dudes were firing off the ball.
Yeah, that's a good line. That's a really good line, especially with the run.
Yeah,
that's what they're built to do.
I think we all like Joe Hayden a ton. And obviously he made a couple of huge plays. His presence was immense. Being that we are realists, I would be remiss if I didn't mention he got absolutely torched on one play in particular, which ended up being an incomplete pass. But that happens. But at the same time, I can't get over how important he is to this defense. Ian, what did you pick up on just having him on the field Sunday?
Right now he's our second highest paid player, and you need your second highest paid player to be on the field, right? For it's that thing where your best ability is your availability sometimes. Absolutely. And you want in a salary cap league like the NFL, you need the guys that you're spending the money on to get
second
out there.
Second highest cap hit?
Yeah, second highest cap hit, I guess, technically.
Okay, so not the second highest paid player.
Yeah, because you'd have Watt.
Well, you got Cam. Watt and Cam.
Yeah, but I get but Watt's salary this year is just $1 million because of his.
Oh, that's true.
Because of his gigantic signing bonus.
Right. Yeah.
Large signing bonus. Large.
Yeah. So, but nevertheless, right. What I'm saying is, the guys you're paying, you need them to get out there and perform. Yeah. And Hayden got out there and performed, and he had missed a bunch of games and it hurt. And the other thing that having Hayden out there does is it enables you to bump back the other guys. Then you don't have Cam Sutton on a number 1 and either Pierre or Witherspoon or whoever on the number 2. And then who knows, like Trey Norwood in the slot, everything else kind of fills out from there too, that you can have Cam Sutton on their number 2 receiver. You can have, it just allows you to do more things in the secondary too. With how you match up guys. So Hayden absolutely showed his worth, and it was great to see him back out there. Great to see him making plays between. The other thing I noticed about Hayden too is it makes a big difference in the run game that he really sticks his nose in there off the edge. And he made a couple tackles on those outside zone runs, to kind of prevent a much bigger gain. That those were, and there were a couple plays I was like, those were plays that Joe Hayden just made that weren't being made previously by the other defense.
No, that's great.
By the other cornerbacks.
Yep. No,
and you know who was really good at that was Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor was a great run defender off the corner.
Came in very low.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you think, Ben, about Arthur Millette Sunday?
Some good.
Yeah,
some not so good.
He's like a little bit better each week, a little bit. I mean, he's not the best slot guy we're ever going to have, but I think he's doing some things. I don't trust him covering very well. I'll be honest.
He's okay. I think they need to draft a corner. And
I agree. It's got to be on the priority list.
They've got the flexibility.
I'd sign one in free agency.
Well, they've got the flexibility of signing one or drafting one, and they could bring in either a nickel corner or a boundary corner, because you can always move Sutton to the nickel if you need to, and you're okay. He's not ideal as a nickel player because he's not super physical, but man, can he cover in the field?
Right.
And he's smart. He helps the other defensive backs get set. So it wouldn't be terrible to have him in the middle of the field, kind of directing traffic.
Right.
The other thing they've done with Sutton is there's times they've lined him up in the slot and then dropped him all the way back to the free safety spot to allow Minkah to come up and kind of play that robber role. So they're able to do more with Sutton when Hayden's in the game too. Would you guys bring back Witherspoon?
Yes.
I agree.
But I would not play him in slot ever again.
Oh, no.
God, no.
That's just not his spot.
Yeah.
He's a boundary guy only.
Yeah. No, I agree with. Yep.
I agree.
100%.
Yep, I agree.
I wanted to just throw out there too. Of course, we are very pleased to be part of the Pigskin Podcast Network, who is backed by DraftKings, and we all know about DraftKings. But in case you don't, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL. Jeez, man, must be on
Hopefully
vacation.
No one took that bet on the Buccaneers last week.
Oh my goodness, what were they favored by? And put up a goose egg. Holy cow!
That was pretty sweet.
Actually, I didn't mind it. And let me just say this on Tom Brady. I don't think anybody would deny his greatness, great competitor, all these things. He's one of the worst losers of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, the behavior is just awful. It's awful. He must have been really bad as a little kid.
You know what Don Shula said about good losers?
What's that?
You show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser.
Yeah, no, that's look, if he was my guy, I'd love it. I mean, let's face it. But,
you know who was an infamously terrible fucking loser? Joe Green.
Me and Joe.
Joe Green
losing. Yeah,
he was awful. Like he would, when he knew he was losing games, he would pick fights during the game with the opposing team.
Yeah, no, he was
kick people when they were down. All kinds of. I mean. Yes. Infamously bad loser. He hated it. And when he lost, he would take it out on his teammates.
Yeah,
Tell them that if they weren't going to be ready to practice, not to even show up.
No, there's great stories about him. And that's true. That's true. We are looking at the potential, and I think tomorrow would have to be probably the day, but COVID is hitting the Kansas City Chiefs, and it has now started to affect the Steelers a little bit. Yeah. Zach Banner, Devin Bush, and who was the third member?
Was there a third? Wormley didn't practice, but that was because of his.
It wasn't. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. I'll find it before we leave. But there was a third member.
I tweeted this today.
You did.
Marcus Allen. Did you say Marcus
Allen?
It was Marcus Allen.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
So two linebackers, Allen and Bush, and then Zach Banner, who isn't playing a significant role in the offense
No.
right now. Anyways, that's not really that big a deal. But two linebackers going out,
right? And the
kind
Chiefs are
of a big
dealing.
deal.
They've got Kelsey, they've got Tyreek Hill, plus about 11
Chiefs
other guys.
have, I want to say they have 10 guys total.
They did not have any positives today. Which was good, which is good. But I think we all know that if the name Patrick Mahomes were to pop up,
that game's getting moved to like Tahiti at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday.
You guys speaking this shit out loud is really not encouraging. Okay.
Well,
Number
it
one.
is what it is. I'm
Number
not gonna
one.
run from it.
The NFL is diluting the quality of their product and putting the players' safety at risk by moving these games around. Because what they're doing is they're shortening the between games, like they did to the Steelers last year.
Exactly.
When the Steelers played 3 games in 12 days, which was
Mm-hmm.
total bullshit.
Which is why I can see it happening again.
Total bullshit.
Precedence there.
Yeah, well, fuck that. Second, the
Yeah.
Steelers' next 2 games are divisional opponents.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want this game moved in any form or fashion. I don't care who goes out. I don't care if Ben gets the Rona again. I don't care. At this point, the Steelers need to go through and play the schedule as scheduled. These next 3 games are super important.
Yep.
But if you lose one, you still got 2 more. You still got a chance. If you move this to Tuesday and you got to play the Browns on a short week when they've had all week to recover, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And then it puts Steelers players at risk because they don't have time to recover between games.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a fan of them moving these fucking games around at all.
No, I'm not
For
either.
any team, I don't give a shit who's out.
Nope.
Go with who you got.
Nope.
Remember, too, they made the Broncos play with a wide receiver at quarterback last year.
Right.
Maggie doesn't like that either. She is not happy.
I can't blame you, Maggie, one bit. I know, and that's that's a part of it that's frustrating too. When you see one team being forced to do this, another team getting the opportunity to get guys back, play the games.
Games.
You said you were going to do that at the beginning of the year.
With the guys you have.
Yep. You said you were going to do it at the beginning of the year. Then they went back on it and changed it.
No more postponements.
No. And now here we are. And that's just been ridiculously frustrating in that regard. Let's see here. Boswell, 4 out of 5. He tried the one real long one there at the end of the half, but sometimes I just wonder where this team would be without that guy. Look, Justin Tucker is an amazing kicker. He got the Pro Bowl nod. I thought Boswell was very deserving, but I'll just take the fact that
they're
he's
both very good kickers.
They are.
Tucker's range is just a little bit longer.
It is.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Tucker was deserving of the nod. If Tucker wasn't a player in this league, I would say Boswell's the guy, but unfortunately Tucker is. So no.
While we're talking about guys that use their foot, Presley Harvin, my goodness, feast or famine. And we then found out afterwards that his dad is in a very, very bad way health-wise.
Terminally ill.
Yeah. Finally got the opportunity to be at the game. And look, I am not in any way, shape, or form making an excuse for Presley Harvin, but you got to wonder if that doesn't weigh on this kid's mind and his ability.
Wouldn't it you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what I do for a living or what he does for a living. It would have to weigh on my mind. And I really hope, in a weird way, that's probably not the right way of saying that, but maybe that's what it's been. Maybe his inconsistency is in part due to the fact that his father's dying. And far be it from me or anybody else to tell this kid how to feel. And I thought Mike Tomlin yesterday, in his way, was kind of saying that by we're sticking with this kid. We're going to ride it out. And so I thought that was good. That doesn't mean he's suddenly going to punt better, but at the same time, maybe those words of reinforcement will help. I don't know. His watching him punt, though, I got to tell you, you don't use the term fun when you watch punters too often, but my God, that guy has a freaking cannon for a leg. When he gets it, it is gone. I mean, it's like a gunshot. And unfortunately, when he doesn't get it, you know it right away too. But again, I wish the best for him and his family, and certainly his dad and stuff.
And that's just it with the consistency. Like you said, not only does he have he boomed a couple kicks, but then he shanked a couple other ones. I mean, he had two that were shorter than 35 yards.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, we've seen him this year not only be able to crush the ball, but also be able to put some really good spin on it and like stick it inside the 5-yard line. That like he's got the skills, he's just not consistent with it. And it's the consistency that's maddening.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you, and I think we could feel that watching games. We could feel it in the stadium. It's just it's frustrating, for sure. Guys, if all things hold true and we play this game on Sunday against the Chiefs, we know what we're dealing with. This is a team that is playing really, really well right now. They started 3-4 and have now won 7 straight. It's going to be a tough task. There's no question. Ben, what can the Steelers do to, at the very least, make this a ball game?
2 things: protect the ball, because the Chiefs' defense has been opportunistic. So protect the ball. Ball security is going to be really important. And start faster. Start faster. Just, what you've been doing in the fourth quarter, do that in the first quarter. Don't come out and follow this script and then just figure, screw it, we're just going to let Ben call plays. Just let Ben call plays. Or go out and script 10 or 12 plays and see what the defense does and then let Ben call plays. Because then Ben can, based upon those previous 12 plays, diagnose what the defense is going to do when he does this. And to me, they've just got to start faster. That's the biggest thing. However, I said this last week. I said they're going to beat the Titans. They're going to beat the Chiefs. And they beat 1 down, 1 more to go. And you don't recall the rest of my prediction.
We won't go there.
We'll leave that alone.
If we're not going to speak any of this COVID stuff into existence, you're not going to speak any of that into existence.
So I think they're going to find a way to win this week. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be impressive, but they're going to find a way. And, the other part of it is teams like the Chiefs historically always dump one late season. And it kind of rights the ship. You've seen it happen with the Steelers, where they lose a game in December because maybe they're taking the opponent lightly, or maybe they didn't come in, fully focused on the task at hand, and they take a shit the bed, and it makes them better. That loss makes them better, and part of it is just instinct, and part of it is the fact that the Steelers have beaten 3 of the 4 teams that beat the Chiefs already.
It's good
and
point.
I think they should have beaten the Chargers. If they had played before the fourth quarter, they would have beaten the damn Chargers. They didn't decide to start playing until the fourth quarter. It's like, when are you guys going to put together a game? And I honestly, I don't know that they will.
No,
at all this season. And that's not entirely true. I thought that the defense and the special teams played very, very well versus Buffalo. The offense didn't. The offense was shit.
No.
But if we can get at least 2 phases to play very well for an entire game, and preferably one of those teams, those units rather, is the offense, and they're sustaining drives, keeping the Chiefs' offense off the damn field. If we keep this thing close, what was it, 13-3 at one point at halftime on Sunday?
Yeah.
And I look at my buddy and I'm like,
second half.
It's close enough. We're not down by 29. We can win this. And he looks at me, he's like, what? I'm like, dude, you're down by 30 points at halftime last week. We were done. We were toast. We couldn't come back. The margin was too great. Even the rally that Ben always has in the fourth quarter, it didn't make a difference. In this game, we can do it.
Yeah. Ian, what do you need to see this week? Anything different?
You're not going to keep Patrick Mahomes down for the whole game, so you got to score points. But at the same time, you can't be stupid about your, going forward on 4th downs when you have field goal opportunities, right? That we saw the Chargers last week pass up 2 field goal opportunities actually three field goal opportunities.
Yeah.
And trying to go for it on 4th downs, and they missed all 3.
And that game went to overtime.
And the game went to overtime. And I know what the analytics say about expected points and all that, but nevertheless, like, points on the board always helps you. So
and there was a lot of talk about that after the fact, because the Chargers head coach is big on analytics.
Yeah.
And that's why he made the decision that he made.
Yeah.
And when you lean on analytics and then you lose, people are going to criticize you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
And it's
people
one of those
who
things
are
where,
used to conventional football are going to go, "You fucking idiot. If you got 2 of those field goals, you would have won easily."
Yep.
Right. It's results over process, right?
Right.
That, you can make a good process-oriented decision based on the data, but if you don't get the results, then, it's the results matter. So
right.
Yeah, and I think Ben's right. You got to score points, right? You got to put points on the board when you can, where you can, as much as you can. Yeah. So it's
and I get Tomlin too, where he's like, we have the momentum. I'm going for it here because we have the momentum.
Yeah.
We've got these, and he's playing the whole emotional, card where you've got guys on their heels, and you're thinking to yourself, they're going to think too hard about this. They're going to screw it up, and we're going to take advantage of it. We're going to do this right now. We're going for it. And I get it. Cowher used to do that too, and sometimes he was right. Yeah. Sometimes he was wrong, but he did it too. Did the same damn thing. So I'm not going to, people loved Cowher and want him to come back now, and criticize the shit out of Tomlin. They're very similar coaches. They really are.
A lot of ways.
Yeah.
So Ben, what's your score then on Sunday? You think the Steelers are going to pull this out? So what do you got? What's your numbers?
Steelers 27, Chiefs 24.
Woo! That's a barn burner in that late Sunday window. What do you got, Ian?
Yeah, I am not as confident as Ben is on this one.
Well, you're wrong. It's fine. You have the right to be.
I think I'm going to say Chiefs 27, Steelers 20, with the caveat that that's assuming Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce play. That if they don't play, the rest of their receiving core is not that good. So that's my caveat. If Kelce and Hill play,
that and COVID exhaustion is a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm leaning. Yeah.
I don't think Mahomes is going to move the ball on us, and they're going to get points. And I don't know if our offense can score enough to keep up with them. So,
the nice thing about playing Andy Reid is you always hope Philadelphia Andy Reid shows up, the one where he should run the ball a lot and doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping maybe that's what happens and he gets a little crazy with the passing game because Lord knows everybody should run on us.
Or they get into a little bit of a hole and he figures he's got to pass. I got to pass because got to score some points. I'm not staying on schedule. Not so much a hole, but it's like, we're not staying on schedule. We've only scored 9 points, and it's the beginning of the third quarter. We got to score more points. I'm going to throw the ball. That kind of a thing when they should run.
I don't know. I just think Kansas City's just a better, more consistent football team. I'll take them 28-20. But again,
you have the right to be wrong too. It's fine.
I do, which I'm wrong quite often. But
it's not like I don't point it out to you guys when you both are. I really enjoy it.
You do that.
I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, I never noticed that. It's truly incredible.
I mean, me enjoying it. I know you've noticed me pointing it out, but me enjoying it when you're both wrong. It's wonderful.
Anyway, hey, we want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that good stuff that comes with this time of year. And please make sure you check out our online store for tremendous SCB swag. We've got some new stuff up there. It's at dc4lcustomtees.com. Check that out. And of course, check the website out at steelcityblitz.com, on Twitter at SCBlitz, and Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else. And so that is going to be it for us. And hopefully the Steelers will play well and maybe sneak a W out of Kansas City, along with perhaps a little bit of barbecue sauce as well. So,
Barbecue sauce.
Oh, barbecue sauce, Kansas City. That's a big thing. Anyway, for these two, this is Steel Dead signing off on the SCB Steelers podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And hey, go Steelers.
Ravens suck.